Well, the President of the United States called out Ted Cruz and all these right-wing wacko birds who say that he's trying to undermine America, that he's a tyrant in chief. They've been calling him all kinds of names. They say that he's trying to tear down the institutions of American democracy. Here is what he had to say last night.
These economic royalists complain that we seek to overthrow the institutions of America. What they really complain of is that we seek to take away their power. Our allegiance and our allegiance to American institutions requires the overthrow of this kind of power.
Oh, really? I'm sorry. Wrong president. No. Actually, I don't think that President Obama, we heard last week that he was going to give a speech focused on income inequality. Then the National Journal. This is fascinating. Divided Democrats put Obama in a State of the Union squeeze. This was published on January 20th. Josh Kraushar. And he says, as the White House drafts the sixth State of the Union address, signs of strain are emerging within the Democratic Party, with liberals pushing the president to be more outspoken about the economic issues that now drive voter dissatisfaction. But that's what the liberals want, right? But the party's centrist wing, where do they come up with this language? The party's centrist wing, which generally backs entitlement reforms, where do they come up with that language? They don't want entitlement reforms. They want to cut Social Security and Medicare and free trade agreements that appeal to the more affluent. Well, that's an honest statement. Wants Obama to use the speech to convey an economic growth message. The liberal wing is more confrontational, is urging a more confrontational approach toward Wall Street and higher taxes on the wealthiest Americans. Third Way President Joe Cowan and Senior Vice President for Policy Jim Kessler last month arguing economic populism is a dead end for Democrats. Well, it looks like the president's listening to the Third Way. His speech last night, this is a guy who can give a hell of a good speech. And last night was not one of them. It just wasn't. There was no Harry Truman. There was no Franklin Roosevelt. There was no John Kennedy in there. Now, when men, give speeches, they usually do them behind a podium. They do them standing up. Now, I don't think Bobby Jindal or Marco Rubio had podiums, but they were standing up. And they weren't like in their living room. But the little lady is in the living room sitting on the sofa where all little ladies should be, right? This was the Republican response. Circa 1960. She looked like Betty Crocker. I mean, I suppose I mean that as a compliment. She did a great job of smiling throughout the speech. I mean, just like, television 101. So apropos of 1960, here's the president from his speech, which preceded the Republican response.
It is time to do away with workplace policies that belong in a Mad Men episode. This year, let's all come together, Congress, the White House, businesses from Wall Street to Main Street, to give every woman the opportunity she deserves, because I believe when women succeed, America succeeds.
Now, that was one moment, I think, of really significant contrast between the president saying that and pointing out that women are still earning 73 or 77 cents, whichever it is, for every dollar that a man earns. Between the president saying that and the Republicans delivering their response with a woman sitting on a couch in her living room, the president gave a speech, and he called for closing Guantanamo. He said we're ending the war in Afghanistan. That's good, although, how about pointing out that we never had to have a war in Afghanistan or Iraq, that they were mistakes, that they were crimes. I mean, this soldier up in the gallery gets this, like, the longest standing ovation, just goes on and on and on. The guy got blown up on his 10th deployment in Afghanistan. So that George Bush could get enough political capital that he could cut Social Security, that he could privatize Social Security. You would think that the president would call out the Republicans on these things. Or you would think that he would point out that he has been, that the Republican obstruction, that the conspiracy that was hatched, that Newt Gingrich came on this program. Newt was in the meeting. He came on this program and said, yeah, I was there, and that's what we did. January 20th, 2009, as the president is dancing with his wife over at Union Station. Ellen Ratner and I were there. His inaugural ball, as that is going on 10 blocks away, 12 blocks away at the Caucus Room restaurant, in a private meeting room, you got 15 Republicans getting together and planning to bring down the Obama presidency. We sweat, and then and then we had another one of these meetings right after his second inauguration. This new one was chaired by Ed Meese. The last one was chaired by Newt Gingrich with Frank Luntz there, and in both cases it was, we're going to block absolutely everything he does. And you heard all the clips yesterday. I played a whole bunch of Harry Truman clips yesterday. I'm not going to do it again. But Harry Truman called that stuff out. And I don't know why the president didn't. And I don't know why he didn't. Well, actually, I do know. It's because the Supreme Court has said that money is protected by the First Amendment. And every politician in Washington, D.C. is now terrified of the billionaires. I mean, remember originally this was supposed to be a State of the Union about inequality? And then the billionaires started calling the White House and saying, yeah, you don't talk about inequality, please. He used the word 3 times. He never once mentioned the consequences of inequality. We'll be back in just a minute. 15 minutes past the hour. Your thoughts on the State of the Union, too.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
I thought, and no mention of a card check, no mention of unionization. I guess the one good thing is he didn't overtly push for TPP.